Ex-fiancee hid our engagement from her best friend, possibly her backup plan, so I broke it off and now my mom's upset. My now ex-fiancee, 30F, and me, 27 male, got engaged 3 weeks ago. We've been dating for 5 years and I finally got the money to give her the wedding she wanted. Well, 3 days ago we were discussing our guest list, and I asked if she wanted to invite her best friend. Let's call him James, M30. James lives in another state, but since they were friends for 10 years, I thought I could even pay for his travel expenses since it would be great to have her best friend at the wedding. She denied, saying that it would take a lot of work to bring him, and she wanted to be a family event. Countless times she mentioned that James was like family to her, so I insisted. She got annoyed and said I didn't even told him we were engaged. That took me by surprise. I tried to ask why, but she started stonewalling me, and I left her alone. After a couple of hours, I tried to ask her again why she haven't told him we were engaged, and she still refused to tell me, and I admit, my insecurity got the better of me. In the past, James had confessed he had feelings for her, which she turned down and basically friend-zoned him. But by the way she told me, it always sounded like she had him as a backup, something not only me, but her exes, realized. She married him online. They always made they WoW characters look like a couple, like wearing the same transmog and shit like that. When she had a fight with her exes, he was always there for her and etc. I told her that made me uncomfortable, and if she was not planning to tell him, she might as well consider herself single, cause I would not marry someone who couldn't be honest. Yes, I was pretty immature, but she did something even more immature. She texted him while showing me her phone something like, "Hey, just so you know, I was engaged, but not anymore," and sent it to him. I told her to pack her things and leave my house. Ever since she left, she has been calling me, but I refused to answer. My mom called me, because she apparently called my mom, and said that I was an asshole for ending things for such a ridiculous thing. So, Ida? Update 1. I pay for the house since I bought it before dating her, and I asked her to move in, since it was close to her job. I work from home since I'm in tech, but she had to go to work. That's why I paid for her car, to help her commute, and honestly her salary is shit. I was her partner, so I didn't see any problem with that. I thought she was the one, despite everything. She is smart, funny, we had chemistry, but I felt betrayed. To the update. We met at a coffee shop on the premise we would discuss how to save our relationship. At least, that's what she thought. As soon as we sat down, I asked to see their messages. She got defensive immediately and told me she had deleted everything. I asked to see her phone anyway. She started to cry, ugly cry, asking me to stop. At that point I had already decided I was not going to be part of the relationship anymore, but damn, I was curious. It took a good 20 minutes for her to hand me her phone, a lot of crying, even a waitress asking her if she was okay. So I read the messages. There wasn't any cheating like nudes being exchanged, them professing their love for each other, but what I read still stung. There was a lot of shit talking about me. A lot. Texts and texts of them saying how terrible of a person I was, criticizing my hobbies, I like video games and pro wrestling, saying I wasn't a real man because of them and stuff like that. But there were 2 topics that caught my eye, one where she had told him I was having trouble getting hard and that was frustrating for her. And one where she was complaining about how she didn't want to be stuck in our relationship. Yes, I was having problems in bed. Because I was sad because my father had passed away 6 months ago, and the stuck thing, I remember telling her that when we got married, if she wanted she could leave her job, and I would provide for both of us. I don't know if she took this the wrong way, but I guess it was related to that. I honestly don't know. By the time I gave her the phone back, she was already giving excuses on why she was saying those things to him, how he was like a therapist for her, and then she asked me, "Don't you complain about me to your friends?" And I simply replied, "No, I don't." She started crying again. I took a pretty deep breath and just said, "Just give me the ring back. I didn't have the ring with me, like some suggested." She hesitated a bit, but gave it to me anyway. I stood up and asked her to delete my number and to not bother me anymore. I called her mom and asked her to pick up her daughter's stuff at my place. Her mom is a good person. I'm just realizing I'm going to miss her as I write this. She understood why I decided to end it, but she didn't ask much, and to be honest, I'm glad she didn't. As for my mom, I didn't call her. I just blocked her for things unrelated to this post. I just realized she never had my back in anything. I was always trying to save an already failed momson relationship. Before I leave, I just want to clarify. I was never against her having male friends, or any type of friends. People are going to cheat, friends or no friends. I remember my dad saying something to me when I was a teenager. He always said opportunity makes the thief, but I do not agree with that. Anyway, since I have the next 2 weeks off work, I'm going to figure what to do with the wedding money, drink some booze, play games and watch Monday Night Raw later. Peace. P.S. Sorry for any typos, but I fixed the title now. Edit. A couple of people are asking about the car. Is a 2015 Nissan Versa which she crashed 2 times, both times she rear-ended someone. Never liked the car, weak engine, the interior feels cheap and overall bad, so for all I care she can keep that piece of shit. I would have more luck throwing it off a cliff than selling it. Edit 2. Little update. Her mom called me a few hours ago to check on me and to ask when she could come and pick up X's stuff. We spoke about the car and she basically forbid me to let her daughter keep the car because 1. I paid for it. 2. X wouldn't be able to maintain it. So I'm going to keep the car until I'm able to sell it, God help me. Also, some people called the story fake, cause they said I wasn't a real man for playing games, and yet they played WoW. To be honest, that's on me, cause I wasn't very clear. The real man thing was more about the pro wrestling hobby than the gaming hobby, but in some messages they clearly mocked me for playing some games. Life is Strange series. In one I remember James saying something like, how could a grown-ass man play such a girly game and cry? Yes, I cried playing Life is Strange. I also cried to RDR2, the I'm Afraid cutscene still makes me emotional. I'm a crybaby I guess. Update 2. I also want to say I thought about my engagement a lot, and I have no regrets whatsoever. Yeah, things ended badly and she was not a good person to me at the end, but I just don't hate her, nor do I wish for her to fail. We had good moments, I felt happy with her and again I really thought she was the one. Feeling hatred was going to harm me more than her. To the update, her mom came to pick up her stuff and we talked for hours, it felt like therapy. I cried on her shoulders, we laughed, she expressed how much I meant to her family, and that I would be always welcome in her home. It felt so good to hear her say those things to me. Before she left she asked me if I wanted to ask about my ex. I got curious and asked how she was doing. Her words were she's trying to act stoic, but I know my daughter, she's not taking this well. I left it at that, she gave me a hug and left. About the car, I'm going to donate it and get a tax write-off. But to the thing I'm excited about, is that I'm going to Royal Rumble. I never even watched Raw or SmackDown live, but now that I have the extra cash, I'm going to treat myself. Again, thank you all for reaching out. Sorry to the people who love drama that this update doesn't have an unwanted pregnancy, a fight, chaos or a plot twist. The truth is that my life is just really boring. Be kind people. Update 3. Since the breakup I tried to be as busy as possible. Go to work, gym, play on my new Switch. On weekends I started modding and repairing old consoles, a hobby that turned out to be quite expensive NGL. I even modded my own Switch, sorry Nintendo. And I was managing to get through the days without feeling sad. Well, yesterday my ex-meal called me to catch up on things. She has been calling me every week or so, and invited me to spend Christmas at her house with her family. I immediately refused, because even if I don't hate my ex, there are other people I would rather spend the holidays with. But then she said something that kinda made me a bit sad. She said my ex was not going to be there since she was spending her Christmas with James, since they are now kinda dating, her words. I replied that I was not sure if I would go. I'm going to be honest, feelings are complex things. Maybe my pride or ego is hurt, since I feel she moved on really quickly. Maybe I still have feelings, I don't know. 2 months is not a long time when it comes to this stuff. My ex-meal noticed my tone changed and said, look sweetie, it's up to you, if you want to come, you're more than welcome. I thanked her, we said our goodbyes and hung up. I know how Reddit usually respond about those things, so I'm giving my insight RN. My ex-meal had no intention of making me sad. She is a really honest person and I do believe she was just explaining that it was okay for me to go, since my ex wouldn't be there. So yeah, I'm feeling kinda shitty right now, but it will pass. Maybe I even change my mind and go spend Christmas with them. Ex-meal's food is one of the best I ever ate. I wouldn't mind a free plate lol. And I want to apologize to the people who sent DMs about buying the car. By the time I saw your messages, I already had donated. That's it. Happy holidays to everyone. Edit. Hey everyone, I read your comments and people were really divided about me spending Christmas with my ex-meal. There are people that said I should move on and decline the invitation. That way my healing process would be a lot better and faster. There were also people who told me to go to piss off my ex, to be close to them since they care about me. A lot of you guys had really great points on both opinions. Well, I texted my ex-meal this morning and told her I wasn't going to spend Christmas with her and her family. The idea of healing resonated with me a lot more than the idea of pissing my ex off, because if I'm petty, that would actually show her that I somehow still care, and I don't want her to get that idea. The opposite of love isn't hate, but indifference. And honestly ex-meal would be the only person I would feel comfortable interacting with, cause I don't know her family that much, since they live in another state. Also, I was thinking about my extended family in Brazil and I'm wondering if I should plan a trip to meet a year from now. That gives me time to save some more money and travel without having to worry about that. I have my aunt, dad's sister, on Facebook. I'm gonna contact her to see if I can meet them and get to know them a bit more, see how this goes. Update 4. Mid-December, the company I work for decided that whoever was working remotely should go to work in person at least 3 times a week. At work there is this girl Jackie, F22, who started in November. I only knew her from Slack, but since the decision, she and I became good acquaintances. We had a secret Santa, and I ended up getting her. It wasn't hard to think of a gift. I know she's a Swiftie, so I got her a 1989 Taylor's version in vinyl. She was super happy. But then she started to get a little too friendly. It started by her setting her lunch break to the same time as mine to hang out. She usually had her lunch 30 minutes before me. Then she asked her manager to come Monday, Wednesday and Friday, the same days I work in person, inviting me to dinner saying other people would be there, but surprisingly they all cancelled at the last moment. This happened twice BTW. Whenever she talks to me, she touches either my arm or grab my hand. She laughs at all of my jokes, even the bad ones, which are all of them. And she started watching wrestling, knowing I'm a big fan. Seeing her behavior, people started spreading a rumor that we were secretly dating, which made her giggle when she found out. HR even called us to say that if we were really in a relationship, we had to disclosure due to conflict of interest. She said we are just really good friends. Am I seeing too much into it? She said we are just really good friends, but I've known her for only a month, and her behavior is kind of flirty sometimes. I'm really lost. She is a really nice person. I'm starting to feel like that video. Is she into you? And my answer is C, can't tell. Help. Edit, I read your comments and I will ask her if she's having feelings for me. Since tomorrow I work from home, I will try to think of ways to navigate this situation, and I will ask her to meet me at a restaurant on Wednesday after work. Update 5. I spent the night at her place, and yeah, we got intimate, and I will leave it at that. Then we talked to each other until 5 a.m., and I got some answers from her. First time she invited me to dinner, she actually invited other people and they really cancelled at the last moment. She wanted me there cause it was less scary to approach me in a group setting. The second time she really planned to have just me at dinner with her. For her it was frustrating that I wasn't noticing all the signs she was giving. At the same time she thought it was cute. Inviting me to watch the show and drink wine was her Hail Mary attempt of making me realize that she liked me. She told me that we didn't need to rush things, cause I told her that I liked her, but was afraid to carry the baggage of my previous relationship into this. She said I can take my time to process my feelings, but the fact is that I like her, I really like her, and I think a relationship is something I want to pursue with her. Update 6. Alright. So, buckle up, cause the last couple weeks have just been absolutely insane. Like, I genuinely thought my life was gonna settle down post-breakup, maybe find a nice groove with Jackie, go to some wrestling shows in peace and fix up old Game Boys or whatever. But it turns out, the universe wasn't done with the drama just yet. The slightly awkward work situation that exploded first, the we're dating but not officially telling anyone thing with Jackie lasted about as long as a WWE title reign in the 90s. Apparently, denying the rumors only made them spread faster. By the second week of January, literally everyone in the office was sure we were a couple. People were dropping so many not subtle hints that at lunch, Jackie just straight up asked me, loudly, do you want to finally tell everyone we're together, or keep it mysterious? So, I guess that's how we made it official at work. But, plot twist, her ex-boyfriend, Matt, who used to work in another department and is still good friends with like half the office, decided to come visit for happy hour that same week. Apparently he heard the rumors and wanted to check in. This dude proceeded to spend the whole evening glowering at me, then actually tried to corner Jackie while she was getting her coat to warn her about office relationships and guys on the rebound. I ran into them in the hallway mid-conversation. Jackie looked not amused. Thankfully, my manager swooped in and changed the subject by loudly asking me if I was going to powerbomb the new guy next quarter in the dodgeball tournament. Crisis averted. 0 out of 5, do not recommend being the subject of work gossip. We had another HR meeting and officially disclosed, so at least that's handled, and now, whenever anyone asks, Jackie just smirks and says she can neither confirm nor deny. Some people clearly think I moved on too fast and a couple even asked me if I was using her. It honestly shook me for like a day, before Jackie pointed out that, no one actually gets to decide what happiness looks like for us. My ex and James, the telenovela continues now for the part Reddit probably wants to hear, news about my ex. James, her best friend, apparently decided to propose to her about 2 weeks after Christmas. Yeah, my ex-meal texted me, I don't know if she's actually happy, she didn't even call me, just texted James asked. I said yes. Don't worry, ex-meal and I are both weirded out by how fast it's all going, but here's the real kicker. Around the same time, I started getting random DMs on Instagram/Facebook from mutual friends with variations of "So are you okay? Have you seen what she posted?" Turns out, my ex posted some lengthy reflection about how true love often waits until you stop looking, and shared several pictures with James, and a photo of the ring, not my old one, thank God. In the captions, she made a couple of mysterious, passive-aggressive digs about people who never made her feel understood or prioritized her friends. I was surprised at how little it bothered me. Mostly, I felt second-hand embarrassment. Like watching someone try very hard to curate an image of happiness. It's messy, but not my circus, not my monkeys. I honestly hope they're happy or at least learn what actual boundaries are before tying the knot. But wait, there's more family drama. Just as all that was happening, my mom somehow got wind of my new relationship with Jackie, unblocked me from her other burner account, and sent me a multi-paragraph message about how people move on too quickly nowadays, and how real love is about forgiveness, not replacement. I left it on unread, because, honestly, I'm done. My mental health shot up by like 4,000% after I blocked her the first time, and seeing all that just confirmed I made the right call. Still, I'd be lying if I said it didn't sting a bit. Meanwhile, ex-meal, who needs a sainthood or something, invited me to her birthday dinner. This time, I said yes, but only if there was no chance of running into my ex. She promised it would just be immediate family and you, my favorite son-in-law who never was. So, should be interesting. Trying new things, and facing my fears. Okay, this one's less drama, more personal growth. I finally bit the bullet and joined a local wrestling school for adult beginners. I'm not trying to go pro, but I figured, why not try something that's been my passion for ever? The first class, I was so nervous I nearly bailed, but ended up having the time of my life. Turns out Jackie's a secret wrestling nerd too. She even came to watch my second session. She made a sign and everything. It was mortifyingly cute. Also, my plan to visit Brazil is on. I've been talking to my aunt over Facebook Messenger, and we're planning for June or July this year, which gives me time to save up and brush up on my rusty Portuguese. She said my grandma's health isn't great, which was kind of a gut punch, but I think I really need to go, not because of the breakup, but to reconnect with parts of myself I kind of left behind. So, what's next? I guess if you'd told me 3 months ago that I'd be wrestling, dating a cool new person, about to go to Brazil, and drama-free with my ex, fingers crossed, I wouldn't have believed it. For the first time in a long time, I'm actually excited about what's next. And pro wrestling is a hell of a lot cheaper therapy than actual therapy, joking. I'm seeing a real therapist too. TLDR, office rumors are wild, my ex is engaged to James while dunking on me via Instagram, my ex-meal is still the real MVP, I'm learning suplexes, and Brazil here I come. Update 7 first up, the ex-meal dinner. So, as promised, I went to the ex-meal's birthday dinner, just her husband, and her youngest son. Nothing earth-shattering at first, lots of hugs, good food, a little family nostalgia. I did feel a tiny pang seeing some old photos of my ex up on the fridge, but her parents are both so chill it melted away pretty quick. But then, plot twist, ex-meal's phone started blowing up with messages from, you guessed it, my ex. Around dessert, ex-meal excused herself and took a call in the kitchen. She came back, face all worried, and asked me if she could ask something weird. Turns out, my ex just found out from a cousin that I was at the dinner, and apparently she lost it. As in, frantic texts, rapid-fire voice memos, why is he still talking to you? Tear meltdown. Ex-meal asked if I minded listening to the latest voice message, and honestly, pure curiosity got the better of me. The message was a lot. My ex was rattling off about how she never truly got closure, that it hurts to see her old life keep moving on without her, and that she doesn't know if James is really the one or if she just wanted not to be alone. She never mentioned me by name, but it was very, very obvious. Ex-meal just shrugged and said, some wounds need more than a band-aid. Don't take it personally, kid. That part actually made me a little sad for her, because even after everything, I wouldn't wish that kind of confusion and unhappiness on anyone. But it was also this huge moment of relief, like, I dodged a cannonball, not a bullet. I thanked ex-meal for the honesty, and left with a lot to think about. WrestleMania IRL, unexpected tag team. The wrestling school subplot took an unexpected turn. One of the instructors got injured, and they needed a last-minute volunteer for a community exhibition match, just light, comedy wrestling with training wheels. My name came up because, apparently, I have good facial reactions, aka I look like I'm getting clobbered even if it's a feather tap. So, last Saturday, I had my debut in front of about 200 people at a local rec center. Jackie brought a whole fan club from work and did not warn me. Next thing I know, half my office is chanting let's go op, while I'm learning how to sell a gentle chair shot, from a dude in a Pikachu mask. I survived, barely, and, wildest part, one of the organizers invited me and Jackie to check out their indie wrestling production team for social media. I might get to do YouTube promos in character. So, if you ever see a guy called tech support who gets ambushed mid-match by a rogue printer, that's me. Brazil, the family angle gets complicated. The Brazil trip plans? Those escalated. Aunt calls me, all giggly, and drops a bomb. She's planning a mini family reunion for when I come, and she's, kinda without my permission, but I get it, told her whole town I'm coming from America. Apparently my grandma is telling everyone, my grandson from the States is coming, and he's single and handsome. So now I'm bracing for a welcome party, 100 cousins, and, apparently, at least 3 attempted setups with daughters of old family friends. My Portuguese is rusty at best, so I'm brushing up and planning to take Jackie with me. She's never left the US. Assuming we can both get time off, this could be the most wild vacation of my life. Jackie, 0 to 100 real quick. Speaking of Jackie, I didn't expect this, but, wow, she's been an absolute rock through all the weirdness. She's met ex-meal, super casual, zero drama, and has been going out of her way to make me feel secure in this new relationship, which is honestly not something I knew I needed. We went to a small indie show, not my wrestling school, got soaked in a freak rainstorm, and wound up just sitting in Jack in the Box dripping wet, eating fries, laughing so hard people stared. Then, last night, she dropped a bomb. She's been accepted into a part-time grad program at a university in the same city, and asked if I'd want to move in together over the summer. For the first time since my engagement crashed and burned, I didn't spiral or get cold feet. The idea just felt right. So, yeah, I think we're going to try living together, which is wild to say after all that's happened. Bonus, X and James updates through the grapevine, and okay, low-key some social snooping, no one's perfect. I heard that James and my ex paused their engagement after a huge fight over wedding costs. I don't know the details, and I'm not invested, but the friends who told me say they owe me a drink for not ending up in that disaster zone. Maybe it sucks for them, but it just reinforces how glad I am to be out of that toxic orbit. TL.DR, my ex is spinning out, my ex-meal is still legendary, Jackie and I are moving in together, I'm possibly an indie wrestling meme, and Brazil is about to be a telenovela. It's a lot. But for once, it feels like my story's heading the right direction. As always, I'll keep y'all posted, if Jackie doesn't ban me from posting our antics here first. Update 8. Let's start with the most surreal thing that happened. After my tech support debut at the indie wrestling show, those YouTube promos blew up way more than any of us expected. The one with me getting ambushed by a printer, and then fixing it with a steel chair, went low-key viral in pro wrestling meme circles, apparently because someone on TikTok subtitled it IT Guy IRL. Suddenly, their little YouTube channel is getting flooded with comments from people as far as the UK and Brazil, yup, foreshadowing, asking if tech support is going big at the next event. Long story short, I got roped into a recurring bit for their next 2 shows, and my boss found out. Instead of being annoyed, he asked if I'd help host our next big all-hands call-in character. It's not what I expected, but if you hear cheesy wrestling banter over your company's Zoom next quarter, apologies in advance. Also, my inbox is full of colleagues begging for rigged grievance matches over ticket approvals. Truly, nothing unites an office like wrestling. Tropes. On to Brazil, aka, episode 1 of my big fat semi-accidental family reunion. Over the past several weeks, my great aunt has been hyping my arrival on Facebook, WhatsApp, and apparently physical flyers at her church. Thanks, Tia. Everyone knows Jackie's coming too, so of course my aunts are now openly discussing wedding venues with AC and how quickly an American girl can learn to samba. I wish I were exaggerating. What I didn't expect, my mom somehow found out about the trip. I naively forgot the power of Facebook stalking. She sent me a handwritten letter, yes, mailed, to my house, saying she hopes my new fancy life brings me the family you always wanted. Honestly, it kind of gutted me for a day. Jackie saw me moping, called my ex meal, and, get this, the two of them plotted a dinner to cheer me up, with zero awkwardness. Having those two around made me realize how much you can build chosen family when blood lets you down. Also, minor detail, in prepping for the trip, Jackie's been working her way through Portuguese Duolingo exclusively so she can banter with my family at the reunion. I caught her the other night whispering, "Meu namorado é luchador," and when I said that's Spanish, not Portuguese, she just giggled and kept going. I'm both touched and slightly terrified she'll pick up some of my grandma's wild phrases. Of course, no act of my life is complete without my ex and James doing something. Buckle up, I promised myself I'd stay out, but then I got a text from an unknown number that said, "Hey, hope you're well. Do you remember the name of that wedding planner you almost hired?" I immediately recognized the typing style and confirmed via mutuals, it's my ex. Apparently, she and James unpaused their engagement, but her post on Instagram directly quoted a lyric from our old favorite song, one that no one but me would recognize. To be clear, yes, it's extra, but also kind of textbook at this point. Then, Jackie got a completely anonymous DM on Instagram from an account called Truthacounting 2024 that just said, "Careful, he moved on quick for a reason." Cue the dramatic wrestling music. Jackie showed it to me and just said, "Did your ex just discover sock puppet accounts, or is this her friend?" I don't know, but after a group consensus, and a lot of memes, we all laughed it off and blocked. What amazed me was how little it rattled Jackie. Old me would have spiraled. New me? I ate another taco and kept prepping for our trip. Now, the biggest change, Jackie and I signed a lease for a new apartment. We move next month. There's a weird sense of déjà vu. Last time I was buying furniture and towels it was with my ex, and my whole body kept tensing, expecting some kind of shoe to drop. Except this time, nothing dropped. Jackie and I actually sat down and talked budget, chores, all that boring but essential stuff. When I admitted my anxiety, she straight up said, "I don't expect perfect. Just honest. And if you ever need space, you get it." Also, this is embarrassing but whatever, her old roommate got a job offer in a different state, so for a hot second, there was talk of us not living together yet. I was shocked at how much that bummed me out, so I took that as a sign maybe I'm finally, actually ready. We picked someplace with a second bedroom for my gaming/wrestling nerd cave, and she immediately started a Pinterest board for cozy nights and wrestling watch parties. At this point, my ex could propose to James at WrestleMania live on Twitch, and I might just be too busy painting IKEA bookshelves to care. To sum up, next month I'll have a new place, a plane ticket to Brazil, a fake wrestling career, and a partner who actually seems to like all my weirdness. For every random specter from my old life that rears its head, or opens a sock puppet egg, I'm finding the confidence to let it pass. I won't pretend there aren't moments of what if or weird pangs when someone dredges up some ghost from my past. But, honestly, I feel like the guy I was last year would barely recognize this version of me. I've still got scars, but for the first time, I think I'm building a life that's actually mine. If you made it this far, thanks for riding along with the chaos. And if you see a wild tech support in a lucha mask in Sao Paulo this summer, or a girl yelling that's Spanish in the background of a family barbecue, well, that's probably us. TL, viral wrestling memes, Brazil is bracing for cultural impact, my ex is subtweeting hard, Jackie's a goddess, my chosen family is solid, and for once, all this chaos feels like the good kind.